Scott the Elden Ring boss discusses Bloodborne Remake. Benefits of waiting for new hardware? Really? Ed Nightingale over at Eurogamer. Dude, what a wicked last name. Fromsoft boss Hidetaka Miyazaki has discussed the possibility of a Bloodborne remake and the benefits of waiting for new hardware on which to revisit the beloved PlayStation 4 classic. Dude, they're gonna skip a whole console generation. Quote,
yeah, I'm struggling to remember when this game came out, but it wasn't that long ago.
Well, PS4, man, like that's a while ago now at this point, right? We're 3-4 years into the PS5's life cycle. So, yeah, it's moving on. Dude, time flies. But, quote,
I have to look this up.
All right, you look it up.
2015. 2015 is what it is.
There you go. Yeah, 2015. Dude, we're almost at a decade now. Like, think of that.
Yeah.
We're just shy of a decade, and you're waiting for new hardware. Huh. It is a title we hold very dear, and just as much as our fans, end quote, Miyazaki told Eurogamer when questioned about the possibility of a Bloodborne remake in an interview timed alongside the proper unveiling of the Elden Ring DLC. Quote, it does make me very happy to see that there are still so many people passionate about it, end quote. But would a remake benefit from newer hardware to make the release worthwhile? From Software's Demon Souls, for example, was remade as a PS5 launch title after originally launching on PS3. So, skip the generation there, Scott, right? A double console generation leap that meant the re-release felt more significant. All right, let me finish this, and then I got something to kind of go with this. Hang tight. Stick with me. Quote, I think having new hardware is definitely a part of what gives these remakes value, end quote. Quote, things you weren't able to achieve on previous generations of hardware, ways you weren't able to render specific expressions, new hardware sometimes makes it possible. However, I wouldn't say that's the be-all and end-all, end quote, Miyazaki continued. Quote, I think purely from users' perspectives, modern hardware also allows more players to appreciate all the games, and so it ends up being a simple reason, but as a fellow player, I think that accessibility is important. I think that can be the driving force between bringing an old game to a new platform, end quote. Whether a Bloodborne remake eventually sees the light of day, regardless of whether it may arrive on either PS5 or PS6, Miyazaki said, quote, he was very happy, end quote, to see so many passionate fans calling for a Bloodborne remake to happen. Part of me is a little surprised, Scott, that we don't see a Bloodborne 2.
Yeah, not just a Bloodborne 2, but everybody's been port begging since the game released incessantly for PC. And you'd think if accessibility was important, PC surely would be the hardware jump that you would require to, I'm of the opinion you don't require a hardware jump, but if that is a sticking point, I think PC would have been a very good realm.
Absolutely. Miyazaki apologized for being unable to say anything more specific about remaking the PS4 exclusive, but he said he was, quote, thrilled, end quote, at the game's continued response. Quote, put simply, it makes me very happy to see it's a title with a lot of specific memories, both for me and the staff who worked on it, end quote, he said. Quote, and when we see those passionate voices in the community, of course it makes us feel thrilled. It makes us feel very fortunate to have that at the end of those memories, end quote. Here's the thing, Scott. People are begging for this. If he was to put it out, this is where I kind of go, dude, look at The Last of Us getting remastered left, right, and center. People were not happy, right? Not happy at all. So there's the other side of it too. What if we would just wait? Dude, what if PSVR 2 waited? The Last of Us Part 2 waited till PlayStation 6 to do the remake, but they didn't. They gave us the newest one on PS5, right? They got to keep that cycle going somehow. Are we gonna get to PlayStation 6 and get a Last of Us Part 2 remastered again? That's
likely in that case of Last of Us, but I'm thinking Bloodborne. Is this maybe they're waiting for the next marketing ploy, the next step to tie it with something else?
Yep.
And are we gonna get a Bloodborne 2 announcement with a Bloodborne remaster? That's kind of what I'm thinking. That would be the way to just blow the roof off. Everybody would be super excited.
Well, if FromSoft is working on Bloodborne 2, Does that mean Blue Point is working on the remake of Bloodborne? That's the other side, right? What if you launch Bloodborne at the launch again with PlayStation 6, and then you get Bloodborne 2 6 months, a year later? Like, there's that possibility right now. We're obviously getting Elden Ring DLC, Shadow of the Erd Tree, so like they're pretty busy, dude. At this point, FromSoft is not a quiet studio. They don't sit on their hands. They are busy doing something. They're creating something. What are they doing next after the Elden Ring DLC, which we already knew about, right? That's the thing. We already knew that was coming. So, do we see a Bloodborne remake? Is that something they do, or do they pass that off after getting the Demon Souls remake and being such a beloved remake? Dude, I think you go right back to Blue Point and say, hey, can you redo this one as well? Doesn't that make sense?
I would trust Blue Point with it for sure. That's definitely the way I would go forward with it. But FromSoft is working on something. I'm wondering, are we going to get Bloodborne, a return to Bloodborne, whatever that looks like, or are we going to get an Armored Core before? Which one comes first?
Time will tell.